Sorry, guys. Hi, beauties. Welcome back to my channel. So, I'm just updating you on a few things, but, welcome. Sorry about the whole delay of me talking, but I had some technical difficulties, and it's been just an all-out long day for me in Australia, so here goes. Um, Since the last recording, drama has happened. So much drama has happened. Where do I start? So, Liliana, my, I don't know, niece, maybe? Not even my niece, but you get the point. She's a relation to me. Um, she decided to escape again and go wandering off wherever she felt like it. And okay, wrong of me, but at this point, I was 22 weeks pregnant, okay? And I just had enough of her behavior. So I let her do whatever. It was like 3 a.m. in the morning, and I had children to tend to at home. So, fast forward to the next day, Liliana whispered in my ear what she had done, and it was slimed the youth detention centre and glittered it. So it was an act of vandalism according to the law. And I flipped out. I ended up stupidly helping her by getting a plane ticket and having her sent off to my brother's, but then I decided to do the right thing, to not land myself in jail, hopefully. That is still a possibility that I do not land myself in jail. And I called the police, telling them what is happening. And so I'm just waiting on the DA to see if I land myself in jail or not. Anyway, she managed to come back here, and then she tried running from the police, and that's when things just got way out of hand. She could have just been slammed with a fine and a warning, but knowing her mother, we can see where she gets it from. Speaking of her mother found out, Scarlett, yes. Her mother found out, and Scarlett May, not me. I have to tell you guys how we got the same username, well, pretty much the same username. It's really crazy. Anyway, she came barging in my bedroom when I was trying to sleep, okay? I had enough. I just wanted to sleep. And she slapped the CRAP out of me and right across my face. And then this whole role play of having to sneakily get my phone off the bedside table. And so eventually the police came pretty quickly, actually, and she was arrested because she was threatening the life of my unborn twins. Yeah, it was a whole thing. She stupidly used her powers on a human, which was exposing magic. She burnt the poor deputy's arm. And then bit her and all that. She just did not want to go quietly. Like, seriously. She's older than me, and like 2 years older than me, I think. And she just didn't want to be mature about it. I thought it was kind of funny because she was always saying how she's the good genie and all this stuff, when really she's just trying to get by day, and not snap like me. But then the next day, which was like a few hours ago, I think, yeah, at 11 p.m., my ex, the second in command, came on and demanded I explain a few things. And I just said to Leon, I just went at him. Had to go at him because when you're in a pack, family, whatever, there needs to be a leader, otherwise things go haywire like it has been. Don't get me wrong, I truly do understand why he didn't want to take on the role of alpha. It is a hard job and he loves his brother. But also said that second in command steps up and takes that lead when the alpha isn't around. And that's what's happened with Jack. He's not around and everything's going crazy. Females are after me because they don't like me for some reason. I don't like them, but that being said, I just had a whole pile of pent up anger and frustrations and words that I've never said before, and I just let it flow out because, I mean, serves him right for divorcing me when I'm in prison, right? So, plus, being pregnant's kind of a good thing when he can't discipline me to cause risk of my pregnancy. So I let that help me a little bit. Work for me a little bit. Sorry, I'm still a bit thingy with my head today. He's agreed to take on a temporary role of the alpha. Scarlett is being demoted from gold to silver. Now, how our rankings are is you've got silver as the lowest of the lows. You're just a servant, cooking, cleaning, all that to the males that are higher up than any of us, right? So silver's pretty bad. The worst. And I'm silver. But it's okay. I know my role, but I can try and get up in the gold one day. Now because Scarlett is Genie, it just means that there will be tighter restrictions on her, and he's also going to bind her powers so that she won't be able to use them against anyone again. Scarlett's no stranger to these things because she has done quite a lot of crimes in her time in IMVU. So, yeah. But you know what? I've got some time, so I'm going to tell you all about it. So, from what I know, in IMVU, the roleplay is basically the same, except Jack was in full charge. He is the king of Aragon. Jack is elf, demon, wolf. So he's a hybrid. Scarlett is his wife. But now, bear in mind, he's a wolf. And bear in mind, this is medieval times. Scarlett is also his daughter. Okay. Y'all might be thinking, oh my god, incest. No, it's not. Wolves mate with other wolves and their own pack. It's how Jack is with his roleplay. He is very into the wolf roleplay and he studied wolf behavior and all this stuff. I honestly couldn't give a damn. Like, each to their own, okay? So, but Scarlett's mainly taken on that wifely role. She's not really into the daddy-daughter thing, okay? From what I know, Scarlett and Jack met each other pretty early on when she joined the IMVU app. And they became friends and then lovers. And so at first they were not of any relation. But then it became like she kept saying daddy to him. This is what she's told me. And she just said that it feels more natural to combine the two because she also doesn't have a father in real life. So she tends to roleplay it like this. So he's her father figure and her husband. And she's very happy with that. I get that because with my father, he's very much like a father figure in real life to me. So yeah, I totally respect that ideal RP for her. What else? When I discovered Second Life, I asked Jack if he wanted to try it, and he agreed after a few convincing conversations on my part. And since then we've just combined our roleplay of IMVU into SL, and it's like, I like to call it another realm. So we went from the realm of IMVU, which is where Aragon and Arendelle are. For those that don't know, Arendelle is Aragon, Astara, and Arendelle, Aragon, Astara, so it's now Arendelle or something. I don't know. They made that name up, I don't know. But it's three kingdoms combined into an alliance and into a name. So we do, like if I go on IMVU, which is rare because I hate the damn thing. My roleplay on IMVU continues over to SL. So whatever I do on IMVU, it affects my SL life, if that makes sense. And at the moment, because Jack can't roleplay on his computer because it's completely gone, he can do it on mobile for IMVU. So he's able to do his job as Alpha still, just not directly in SL. Unfortunately, it's not good enough because he's hardly on IMVU. Because he has to get his account back up and running because some person or people had him reported for being underage when he was displaying his age correctly. He told them the date of birth and all that, and they just wanted an excuse to cancel him. So that was a real kick in the gut for the whole family. And yeah, it's really taken a toll, him not being around. So yeah. So with Scarlett, from teenager onwards, she was a rebel. She drank, she did substances. She was a escort. What else? Early pregnancies. She was a nurse, but she ended up losing her medical license for stealing some medical drugs for herself, which is crazy, really crazy. She had my daughter actually, which was Allison. Allison is actually Scarlett's original daughter, but Allison had had enough of her mother's behaviour and decided to ask Leon and I to be her parents. I wasn't sure because I'm not really good at with teenagers, as you can tell. Liliana being one of them. But yeah, she's now my daughter, and I'm okay with that. And what else? I don't know. The whole roleplay is medieval. Mine is medi but modern. I never told you guys my background, did I? Well, I might as well, because I have this house in real life to myself, and I'm gonna utilize that. Take advantage of it. So my background is my father Caspar was a young prince of Astara, and my mother was a servant to the Astaran kingdom, and she became pregnant with me, and I was his daughter. Emma is his daughter, sorry. At about 3 years old, I had to leave the kingdom of Astara because the king and queen, his parents, found out that I was actually his daughter, which was actually against them because they wanted him to marry a princess and all that stuff, and my mother was far from being a princess, okay? So, after my mother had taken me, she came across another kingdom, and she coerced with this king, and she made a name for herself. Trying to think. It's a really long story. So the kingdom was called Hartridge. Her idea, because she had her little finger wrapped around this king. And she was pretty much made queen straight away, even though she had no royal blood in her. So I grew up with a mother that was not a good influence. Veronica was her name, and her main goal is to just be conniving and deceitful and get her way as much as possible. And that was doing deals with other kingdoms and tricking men and all that crazy stuff. So you can see a bit of my upbringing. When I became, actually, first, I was being raised by my grandmother, which wasn't actually my grandmother, it was a person my father hired to keep an eye on me until he could get hold of me again. And this woman, oh my gosh, the lessons I had to be taught and all that, to be brought up right and that, yeah, I didn't listen. She would slap the ruler on the desk and scare the crap out of me. Okay. But despite all these lessons I didn't learn, I think it was 16 or something, I'm not sure. I kept sneaking out of the palace gates and going to clubs and teasing men. But one of those nights I ended up pregnant. And my sister, Emma, yeah, I convinced her to follow me to this club, and well, she got drunk and all that stuff, so it's not the greatest influence on my little sister, but yeah. She was probably 15 or something, I don't know. Or maybe I was 17 and she was 16. It was a long time ago. Anyway, the day I found out I was pregnant, I was so hungover. I begged my sister for help because I was scared, okay? And she helped me find a clinic, and you'd get the rest. But she took the blame for me because I was the eldest, I'm supposed to be this example for the kingdom that I had no idea I wasn't really going to be queen one day. Because as far as I knew, I was being raised to become a queen. So, yeah, and one day I was about 18, I believe. I ended up convincing a few of who I thought my father was the king, right? His councilman, chamberlain, I don't know what you call them. They're the gentlemen of the jury and all that stuff. The court, royal court, convinced them to help me out and on a few charges because I was going to be charged for treason and sold to another kingdom because of my behaviour. I ended up escaping that night because I was so scared. I ended up packing my bags, a little bag because I didn't really have a chance to get anything else, and just flee the castle. And with my sister. And what else? Like 3 days later or something, the kingdom became set on fire because there was an all-out war between two kingdoms, Astara and Hartridge, and actually I think it was 3 kingdoms, Aragon as well. And that was it. A couple of years later, actually a year later of fleeing, I landed in Jackson. yard because I was so tired. I was a tired fairy, okay? Flying all that time. And I was hungry. So hungry. And that's where the journey of Second Life came in, because I landed in his yard and he was watching me from a distance, and I was eating the roses, starving. And then we said hello, and I agreed to be his maid, so to speak, because he was helping me have shelter and food. Then about 2 weeks later, he told me who he is, and it turns out that there was an agreement between the kingdoms that, my mother and his mother of Aragon, that I would become his wife. There was an arranged marriage planned, and because I fled, that never happened. So eventually, yes, we became husband and wife, and that didn't really last long. But the scroll is what the scroll says, like that was the agreement done by blood agreement between the two families. And yeah. Then after me and Jack separated, because honestly I just couldn't stand it anymore. He was so moody. I must admit, he does still have some sort of control over me, because he's just got a way with women. So what am I doing? I don't know. What else? I'm trying to think what else to tell you. The second marriage was it? Ashton. Crazy enough, he was not my brother until the storyline molded into him becoming my brother, and then we just, I could not. It was too much. So we did a pretty good marriage until things just weren't working anymore, and my father and Jack, they just didn't like Ashton being with me, so we ended up divorcing, and he became my brother. And honestly, I love him as my brother. He reminds me of my real life brother in some ways. Like, it's that bond, and I like that, so I don't worry about that too much. What else? So along the lines, there became an update in the roleplay which really confused me for a bit, that I had another sister that I didn't know about. Our mothers kept her a secret. Our mother, sorry. And that is Leia. Now, Leia was not meant to be my sister at all, but okay. So she's my sister. She's the middle child, I believe. No, the youngest, yeah. I think she's about 18 now. And her and Ashton get along, so it's fine. But if you guys followed my other YouTube account, you would know what I'm talking about. Those two were involved in the reason I gave birth early to Emmeline. Yeah, because I found out that Ashton was with Leia and I was yelling at him and all that stuff. It was quite funny as a role play. So, yeah, Leia's my sister, but to make things less weird, I put sister-in-law because Ashton's my brother. So, it's not a deliberate move on our part, it just happened. Ashton was never meant to be my brother, and therefore was never meant to be Leia's brother, but it just happened like that. But yeah, it's not a deliberate move to do so, but it's how the role play ended up. He doesn't like me. Doesn't like me at all. We fight all the time, and it's amusing in real life to watch the role play unfold when we're fighting with each other all the time. But yeah, and like I gave them a house, and she didn't even believe that this was her house. But yeah, I set it up for her and everything. It's the Linden home. I thought, why not? Because it saves money and all that stuff, so they can have that. Okay, so Jack has many daughters, about 20. I'm not sure. Keeping in mind he is wolf, so wolves, well, produce a lot. And many wives. But it's happened because he is very, he has a way with words. He says darling and all that. Oh my god, it is so good. The way he talks. I've heard him in real life and it just makes you melt. So it started with just Scarlett. Then it became another one, then Anna and me, and just so many women just fell for his charms that, well, now there's many children and many women. A few have dropped off into like Casper's and Leon's, but yeah, he's even shocked. Like he's like, I can't do all this. Having all these females, you have to take care of and make sure they're okay emotionally, mentally, physically. It's draining on the poor guy. And he refuses more females after that. Like 20 women, you would refuse the females. A lot of outsiders wanted him, but he goes, no. So yeah. He's made it that Leon has taken the reins a bit because Leon wasn't stepping up as his role of a second in command. I'm sorry, beta just sounds weird for a male. That's why he's pretty much not worried about it. But honestly, if Leon wasn't going to step up as a temporary alpha, then I would hate to see what this pack would have done without anyone in control. Because let me tell you, these women can get crazy. And Alicia, my stepmother, she can get crazy. Like, oh my gosh. She is a dark fairy. She has element powers. Earth, fire, wind, water, spirit. She has these powers that I can't even imagine what she can do. Last time I pissed her off, I was electrocuted. Okay, through the ground, she hit the ground, electrocuted me, and I kind of got incinerated, but thankfully I am immortal, so Jack managed to piece me together because the heart wasn't damaged, so I was fine. But I am terrified of her. A lot of people are. Mina's, as far as I know, ice, fire, and air, I think. And vines? I'm not sure. I'm really not sure. Mine was ice and fire. I was an autumn fairy. And my hair used to glow when the powers were activated. But my behavior landed me into no powers. And I'm still trying to get them back. My wings were gone the first day I met Jack, basically, because I just rebelled a lot. I was young. I was 19 and rebelled a lot, and bye bye wings. How I got my cat side was potion. Jack gave me a potion. He wanted a cat, so he made me a cat. I actually liked being a cat, but I do believe it didn't help my behavior. Cats are very, well, you know. So I still have my fairy blood in me, but no wings. I was able to turn cat because I had cat in my genes from my father and mother. My mother was a cat. I think she was a cat. She didn't show her ears or anything, so I'm not sure. I honestly thought she was fairy, but she's not. The fairy side was from my grandparents, I believe. My mother had mermaids, so that's where I got the mermaid side. I'm thankful I got to keep my mermaid side. I just don't like falling ass over head when I touch salt water. So I've got a necklace that not necklace, the circlet prevents that. The one on my head. It also is a symbolism of being a genie. Same with the armlets. really hope I'm not talking my head off to you guys and you guys aren't listening. What else? Nerissa hasn't discovered her powers yet. Henry, he growls, but he hasn't discovered his powers just yet. Thank God, honestly. I believe Nerissa would have fire. She is already quite a fiery one. But it's only because her hair's red that I think she would have fire at least. Allison has ice. From what I know, she used to ice up the whole house of her mother's. So, in a tantrum. So I don't really push the buttons there. I know she could cause a blizzard if she wanted to. Yeah, so if anyone is listening that's from Grimlock, this is the roleplay. The background and everything. Trying to explain it by typing is really hard to explain, but this is the roleplay. Like, you will see me with bumps or bruises or something on me because this is the roleplay. This is medieval times. Believe me, I've tried to get out of it so many times. Doesn't work. Me roleplaying just modern. My character, it becomes out of control. So any role player would know you cannot control your character's characteristics, her personality, their behavior. You just can't. I've tried it. It becomes unnatural. Only times I actually would step in and try and force my hand, physically force it, because I usually cannot, is when things get way out of control and it affects things too much. What else? So medieval ways. I'm not exactly sure what type of medieval. Jack's never told me, but it's medieval. There's punishments. There is whipping. Okay. There is beltings. There is me being locked up in a containment of some sort, either in my genie bottle or in a dungeon. Blindfolded, all that stuff. And I try to follow the rules as much as possible during punishment, but sometimes you just have to OOCly do something else. Like, I'm a nurse, so I have to do something, right? Yeah, it's really, really hard to explain because people would see what's happening and think it's abuse, but it isn't. It's simply them going by the laws of those times. So I hope you're watching because I don't want to have to repeat it in typing again. It's really not good. What else? I really just want to cover it all so there's no confusion. Okay, yes. With Malia, she is going to be married off at 16 to her third or fourth cousin, Isaac. Not Isaac. Oh my gosh. Zachary. He is going to be her husband at 16. Now, this would be shown, it's frowned upon modern times, but it's not in medieval. Medieval, you were 12 and married off. 16 is what we call of age, and this is just so that it's mainly for the female's protection. So Malia then would not be taken by some other kingdom or pack if she is, say, owned or something. She is bitten by her father, which protects her from that, but at a certain age, which is of age, there has to be something else done to be protected. So that's where Zachary comes in. And also, she made a deal to get her out of some situation to be married off, and I, as her mother, had no say in it really, because she agreed by blood to be his wife at the age of 16. Believe me, I was not happy, because I taught her, do not do deals to get out of something, and she didn't listen. Typical. So that's what's going to happen, an arranged marriage with those two. She's agreed to be aged up every 3 months, sadly, but that's how it's going to happen. And yeah, so anyone that's in this town sees young children getting married, don't panic. I'll ensure that Malia is actually not in an actual kid's body when this happens, because it's just weird. But if you see kids getting a spank, or if you see them with like a red mark across their back or something, do not panic, because this is just the role play. And honestly, it works. It keeps the kids in line, usually, if there's actually a leader, which there is going to be. And yeah, without these guidelines, every single person goes out of control. So please, do not come at me for whatever's happening in the family, because it's just the medieval role play. I've looked at the rules myself. I've done many researching of medieval times, and so has Jack and Casper and Leon, and we've all agreed with certain things. Other times I say hell no, and they don't like it, but they have to follow what I consent to. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So if any of you guys happen to see a blizzard and that, don't worry, it's just one of them having a tantrum. And yeah, that's about it. I will let everyone know what happens with Scarlett and Liliana. What happens with me? I hope I don't end up in jail. My license should be back by the next time I talk to you guys, so I can actually show you guys the medical van next time. Medical van, medical car next time, because I'm doing a home visit type thing. And yeah, I think that's it. And next time I will give you guys a house tour, because we are pushing for time now. It's getting close to 60 minutes. I am very sorry for the long talk, but I hope this clears everything up. So until next time, have an amazing day, night, whatever it is over there, and I will see you again soon. Bye, beauties.